Hello class, we're about to start chapter 4, Data Statistics and Probability. Now we have lesson 1, which has tables and picture graphs. Okay, so with that being said, okay class, it says here that data are facts and information. By analyzing data, we can make predictions, draw conclusions, and solve problems. To be useful, data must be organized in some way. A table organizes data in columns and rows. The labels on the table will help you understand what the data mean. The table below shows population figures for selected counties in 2000 and 2010, and the land area in square miles for each county. Okay, as you see here, we had a county, we had a population, and we had a land area. Which county showed the greatest percentage increase in population from 2000 and 2010? Now let's look at what we don't need. When they're asking us for the percentage increase in population, we don't need the land area. So that piece of information we don't need. We do need the county, we do need 2000 to 2010 to compare the rate of increase. Now if we look here, Adams County increased and Davis County increased, but all the rest of them decreased in that 10-year period. So we're basically only going to be looking at Bell and Davis County. Now, number 1, it says read the labels. The first column shows the county names. The second and third column show population figures. The fourth column shows land area data. You don't need land area to answer this question. Number 2, analyze the data. Only Adams and Davis County show increases from 2000 to 2010. Use the data. Find the percent of increase for Adams and Davis County. Now, the percent of increase, we know is the new value, which would be the 2010 value, minus the old value, which is the 2000. So we would add the 15,295 minus 11,128 over 11,128. And it gives us approximately 37%. That's for Adams County. Then we go to Davis County. The new value was the 90,834. The old value is 82,204. And divided by 82,204, which gives us approximately 10%. So Adams County shows the greatest percent of increase in population. Now we go here to a picture graph. It says a picture graph is another way to display data. Picture graphs use symbols to compare data. A key shows what value each symbol represents. So we have example 2. A city has 3 public library branches. A librarian kept track of the numbers of books checked out from each branch in a week. He used the data to create the picture graph below. Now you notice we have symbols that look like books. And over here it tells us the key is that a full book is 150 books. And you notice we have half books here, which would be 75. So now we go here from March 4th to March 10th. How many books were checked out from the south and west branches combined? So we look here, let me see, yeah, I could get both of them in the same photo. So it's 4.5 in the south, and then we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 in the west. So we'll take 4.5 plus 9, and that gives us 13.5 symbols. Then we want to find the value of the symbols. The key states that each symbol equals 150 books. Multiply by 150. So we'll take 13.5 times 150, which gives us 2,025 books. Now we come down here to practice 1. It says use the table on page 280 to answer questions 1 and 2. Use the picture graph on page 280 to answer questions 3 and 4. You may use a calculator. On average, how many people were there per square mile in Bell County in 2010? So we go back up here to Bell County, and we want to know how many people there were per square mile in Bell County. So we'll take the 22,707 and divide it by the 2523. So we would take our calculator. So we had 22,707 divided by 2523. And that will give us 9. So now, let's go back here. So it's 9. So that basically would be, it'd be 9 people per square mile. But we'll just put 9 here because that's all they're asking us to do. So now we go to number 2. To the nearest percent, what was the percent of decrease in Evans County population from 2000 to 2010? So now we go to Evans County from 2000 to 2010, and we want the population decrease. So remember, we always do, for percent of decrease, we have new minus old divided by old. So we know the new value is the 2010 value. Now remember, this is Evans County. So the new value will be 130,748. The old value would be this 139,510. And we're divided by the 139,510. Okay, now we can put this in our calculator. So what we would do here, we'll clear this out. We'll hit N over D, and we'll take the 130,748 minus the 139,510. That's the new minus old. Then we'll hit the down arrow and hit the 139,510. Now again, that's new minus old divided by old. Then we hit the right arrow key. Remember, we want this as a percent. So we'll press second and then the right parenthesis key. You notice we got the arrow percent, and we'll press enter. Now, again, we drop the negative sign. So we know we would have 6. Well, we look behind the decimal, the first digit behind the decimal. If it's 0 to 4, we will leave the 6 the same. If it's 5 to 9, we will add 1 to the 6. So this is 0 to 4, so it'll leave the 6 the same, so it'll be a 6%. So the percent of decrease is 6%. So now number 3, it says how many more books were checked out from North Branch than from South Branch during the week of March 4th. So we go here to this picture graph. So we have the North Branch and the South Branch. We want to know how many more was checked out. So number 3, the North Branch, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We had 6.5 minus the South Branch, which is 4.5. Now, 6.5 minus 4.5, we should know that that's 2. All right, now, remember, each one of these is 150 books. So we'll take 150 times 2, so that'll be 300. So that's how many more were checked out from the North Branch than from the South. So it'll be 300. All right, now we look at number 4. It says how many books were checked out from all 3 branches combined. So we need to add all of these together. So if we look here, for number 4, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6.5. Plus, this would be 4.5. Plus, we had 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Now we know 6.5 and 4.5 will give us 11 plus 9, which is 20. So that's 20 of those symbols, and we will have to multiply that by 150. So we'll take 150 times 20, which will give us 3,000. Now, I skipped over a couple steps as far as the combined, and that's because we can use a calculator, and I'll show this on the calculator as well. So here, let me circle this. So let's start off first by adding up these numbers, 6.5, 4.5, and 9. So what we could do is press second, and then the N over D, so we could do our mixed number. So we add 6, right arrow, 1, the down arrow, 2, right arrow, plus second, N over D, and then we will have 4, right arrow, 1, down arrow, 2, then the right arrow, and then plus 11. And that gave us, 20, it was supposed to be plus 9. I'm sorry. Let me redo this. Press second, and then, I thought it was, okay. All right, let's clear this out. So again, second, N over D, so that'd be 6, right arrow, 1, down arrow, 2, right arrow, plus second, N over D, then we have 4, right arrow, 1, down arrow, 2. And I need to go back and get rid of this extra plus sign, but you don't have to go back. I just had to. Okay, then plus, and then it's supposed to be 9. So that's 20. Now we take 20 times the 150, and that gives us 3,000, which is what we have here. Okay, so now that took care of problems 1 through 4. Now for problems 5 through 8, it says here, choose the one best answer to each question. Question 5 and 6 refer to the following table. Now it says, if 100 children were surveyed in each year, which category showed the least percent of increase from 2004 to 2010? Now we look here to see these increases here. Now we know from 11 to 17%, we know that we went up 6 because we're doing percentages here. We have 37 to 47, that went up 10%. 22 to 34, that went up 12%. 66 to 67 went up 1%. It says, it says which category showed the least percent of increase. So the one that had the least percent of increase was the read or pretends to read. It only went up 1%. So that'll be D for number 5. Because remember, you do not necessarily have to show all of the work. It only went up. So it'll be D as far as number 5 is concerned. Now, sometimes you do have to show the work when it's just raw numbers because we don't know. But all of these are dealing in percents. So we can see that here. Okay, now number 6. A community had 350 3-year-old children in 2010. If the chart is representative of the community, how many were able to write their own name? So we're looking at 2010. We're looking at write own name at 34%. So they tell us it's 350 children, and it's at 34% that they're able to write their own name. So we could take 350 times 0.34, and we could do our calculator. 350 times 0.34, and that gives us 119. Now, the letter answer for 119 is C. Now, we go here to number 7. It says questions 7 and 8 refer to the following graph. Now, we see the graphs here. We got the time of day and the average number of cars, and one full car is equal to 50 cars. Okay, 7. How many cars are parked in the garage from 12:01 to 4:30 p.m.? Okay, so with number 7, if you notice, we have 12:01 to 4:30 p.m. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and a half. So we have 7 and a half. Look like my pen was giving out. So we have 7 and a half. Okay, now each full car is worth 50 cars. So what we could do is multiply this 7 and a half by 50. So we put that in our calculator. We'll clear this out first. Press second, N over D. We'll hit 7, right arrow. We'll hit 1, down arrow. That'll be 2. Right arrow times 50. And that gives us 375. That's how many cars are parked. Okay, so 375 is C. So now number 8. How many more cars are parked from 8 a.m. to noon than parked after 4:30 p.m.? So 8 a.m. to noon, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 and a half, minus after 4:30 p.m. is 4. 5 and a half minus 4 is 1 and a half. Now we have to take that 1 and a half and multiply it by 50. Now we put that in our calculator. Second N over D. We have 1 and 1/2 times 50. That gives us 75. So it's 75 more. And then we go here and the answer is A. All right, now we are done with this lesson here. And if you all have any more questions, feel free to contact me and I will upload this to YouTube. Have a wonderful day.